Donald Trump is now publicly turning on both Elon Musk and Russ Vought, the head of the Office of Management and Budget, OMB, for a controversial memorandum that abruptly froze federal funding to various departments and agencies. This sudden action sparked widespread outrage across the country, regardless of political affiliation. Governors, both Republican and Democrat, expressed frustration over the lack of clarity and the abrupt nature of the funding cutoff. The Trump administration is attempting to distance itself from the memorandum, claiming that the White House did not review or approve it. They argue that it bypassed standard protocols and was solely orchestrated by the OMB, led by Russ Vought and, reportedly, heavily influenced by Elon Musk. Musk has allegedly positioned his associates within the OMB, raising questions about his role in the federal government's budgetary decisions. The controversial memorandum not only halted federal funding but also included a dubious severance offer to over 2 million federal workers. Upon closer examination, the fine print of this offer made it appear largely symbolic and ineffective. As criticism mounted from both sides of the political spectrum, Trump sought to deflect blame onto Musk and Vought. It's worth revisiting statements made by Musk and Trump during the campaign trail. Musk explicitly acknowledged that Trump's economic plans would lead to temporary hardship for many Americans. He noted that there would be a severe initial reaction in the economy but expressed hope for sustainable growths in the long term. Musk's direct involvement in shaping the federal budget cuts aligns with these earlier statements. Russ Vought, the author of Project 2025, has also been a key figure in this situation. His initiative aimed to dramatically reshape the federal government's operations, including aggressive spending cuts. Vaught's influence and collaboration with Musk within the OMB seem to have played a significant role in the release of the funding freeze memo. A report from The Atlantic described the memo as a shock to the Trump White House. The directive, which paused nearly all federal government grants and loans, was issued without the standard approval process. This lack of due process caused chaos and panic across federal agencies and among countless individuals and institutions that depend on federal funds. Ashley Parker, a journalist covering the story, highlighted the unusual nature of the memorandum's release. Trump's claim that he was unaware of the memo's existence raises questions about his competence and leadership. Is it worse for Trump to admit negligence or to be complicit in such a disruptive decision? The administration's narrative suggests that Musk and Vought operated as a shadow government within the OMB, bypassing traditional protocols. Trump's attempts to distance himself from the fallout are undermined by his previous reliance on figures like Vought and Musk. The administration's initial strategy seemed to trust these appointees to execute the Project 2025 plan without requiring direct White House oversight. This hands-off approach backfired when the funding freeze caused widespread chaos. The situation escalated further when state attorneys general filed lawsuits challenging the memo. In a Rhode Island federal court, Judge McConnell considered whether the memo's rescission made the case moot. However, Trump's press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, complicated matters by stating that the rescission only applied to the OMB memo, not the actual funding freeze. This contradictory statement led Judge McConnell to issue an injunction, blocking the freeze and delivering a legal defeat to the Trump administration. The backlash from Republican governors and former Trump voters has been significant. Many expressed frustration with the administration's mishandling of federal funds and the resulting chaos. Trump's response has been to deflect blame onto Musk and Vought, painting them as rogue actors within the government. Despite the administration's attempts to downplay the issue, the evidence suggests that Trump was aware of the funding freeze and its implications. Unearthed audio recordings reveal Musk acknowledging the need for spending cuts and temporary hardship as part of Trump's economic agenda. Vaught's statements further confirm that the plan was aligned with Trump's objectives. Trump's reluctance to address the funding freeze directly has only fueled public anger. When asked about the issue, he dismissed it as an inappropriate topic for discussion, insisting that the government was doing well and cutting back on expenses. However, This response failed to reassure those affected by the funding cuts. Adding to the controversy, Trump attempted to shift attention by making false claims about President Biden. He alleged that Biden had approved $50 million in funding for condoms to be sent to Hamas, suggesting that they were being used to make bombs. This baseless accusation was a clear attempt to distract from the administration's budgetary failures. The administration's pattern of deflection and misinformation has become a hallmark of its approach to governance. Rather than taking responsibility for its actions, the White House has resorted to blaming others and spreading false narratives. The involvement of figures like Musk and Vought in the budgetary decisions only adds to the complexity of the situation. In conclusion, Trump's efforts to distance himself from the funding freeze memo are unconvincing. The administration's reliance on Musk and Vought, combined with a lack of proper oversight, led to a chaotic and unpopular decision that harmed countless Americans. The legal defeat in Rhode Island and the ongoing public backlash underscore the administration's failure to manage the situation effectively. This controversy serves as a reminder of the importance of accountability and transparency in government decision-making. The American people deserve better than a government that prioritizes deflection and blame over responsible governance.